Hello, listener. It is Saturday. We're talking about my heart. We're talking about Kelly's heart. And most importantly, we're talking about your heart. And it's clogged with plaque. That's what we're talking about. Recent events, my dad had a heart attack, about 2 weeks ago. He's doing really well. He doesn't have to have one of those defibrillator things, jackets.
Right.
And he doesn't want to go back to work, so.
He doesn't want to go back to work?
Oh, he hates his job.
So do you think that was contributing factor?
Well, at his job, which will remain nameless, they had him push like a 1,000-pound like wheelbarrow thing one day, and he got like super short of breath, and he had like chest pains. He's like, and he didn't tell anybody, of course.
Oh, Jesus.
And then like 2 or 3 days later, then he had the episode where he had to get taken in. But yeah, he's like, I don't want to go back to work there. I'm like, well, here are some other options you can do.
Right.
And let's explore those. So we'll see.
Aside from that one incident where he was pushing some heavy weight, did he have any indication that he had a blockage or anything?
No, and if you look at him, he's just like an average 60-year-old guy. He's not like overweight. I think he's like 170, 80 pounds maybe. He's he's like in good shape. And so like even the nurse asked him, hey, when you look in the mirror, do you look like a heart attack victim? He's like, no. He just looks normal. So it was a shock to everybody, including him. So basically, he had 2 arteries that were 100% clogged.
Wow.
One was the Widowmaker, which is obviously the bad one. So they got that fixed, I think that day or like that morning, whatever.
Is that like which, the Widowmaker one, is that like the aorta or?
I don't remember which one, but if it's that one's clogged, you're pretty much, and if you're not at a hospital, you're pretty much dead.
Right.
Yeah, that's like the bad one. And then the other one was, I don't remember what the other one was called, but 2 of them were clogged. And they said that usually heart attacks happen at night because your blood pressure isn't as high because you're not walking around doing stuff. So it can't like pump the blood through.
Right.
So that thing, like as he was going to bed at like 11, that's when they got taken in because he felt like weird. He's like, I'm going to die. That's what he told my mom.
Wow.
He felt like super weird. So, but they took him in. They went to Lodi, which they don't have any cardiovascular center there.
They don't?
They don't have anybody to do it.
Oh,
so
geez.
if Mark ever has a heart attack, you know where you have to take him?
Where?
Akron.
Really?
They don't have one in Medina.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Really?
They don't have one in Medina.
Oh, my God.
They don't have anybody to do any of that stuff. So basically, they keep you alive until you get to Akron.
Oh, jeez.
So they can do the stints and whatever they have to do, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that really surprises me, but that's good to know.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Life light him. Laying the chopper right over there, and that field of thing he's clearing out and send him on his way.
He's out there. He's out there working with wood right now.
No, he's not. He's over in the corner. He's laying on the ground.
Oh, great.
I was kidding, obviously. But, all right, yeah, but we're talking about, like, heart attacks. We're talking about what? We're talking about clogged arteries, plaque.
Arterial plaques and heart attacks.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think we're going to sort of cover what causes plaques and arteries that can lead to a heart attack. Is that what we're talking about today?
Well, I don't know. I'm reading your very short notes.
It's really short today.
Which is weird.
So I kind of wanted to put this together as like a Q&A style because I figured that would be easier. So, we'll just kind of go. Are you ready to go with some notes
ready.
there?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So why don't you just start with the first one of what is an artery, because that's pretty easy, right?
It's a thing in your body that carries blood. I think.
What kind of blood?
I think it's oxygenated, right?
Yes.
Oh, whoo! NPTI, I didn't lay it down.
Rich would be so proud.
I know. And then he'll be like, "What's this muscle?" I have no idea, Rich.
What is the insertion point?
That was like 5 years ago, bro. I know this is your quad, and I know it looks good if it's shredded. That's all I know.
Nice. All right, so. Yes,
oh, you even had the answer there. That's even worse. I didn't even look at the answer.
Well, that's good. See, you knew it, though.
No. I should have looked cheated. That's so much easier.
All right, so yes, an artery is a blood vessel. It carries oxygen-rich blood around your body. And the inside of a healthy artery, the wall is smooth and the blood flows easily. I think that's, pretty common sense, right?
Yeah, it looks like a straw.
Right. So what causes an artery to become clogged? A substance commonly referred to as plaque can build up on your artery walls. Most people know that. We've heard of that.
So what is plaque? Let's start with that. What is plaque? Do you know, is that in there? Are we going to cover that later? Oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, but why don't we just do it now since you asked the question? Plaque is made of fat, calcium, cholesterol, cellular waste, and something like, and again, this is not, I didn't know this. I didn't know the part about fibrin. I don't really know what fibrin is. I'd never heard of it, but apparently it's a material that the body uses in blood clotting.
Oh, so my body is killing me.
Right.
It's clotting everything, including my arteries. What the hell?
The thing is that, all of these substances are necessary for the body, but there are certainly genetic and lifestyle factors that can create sort of a perfect storm of things that happen and typically, also inflammation that damages the arterial wall, and so it stops being smooth, and in your body's attempt to make repairs...
And you can't get rid of it.
Right. It starts
Once
to
it's
build
there,
up this
it's
stuff.
there.
Right. And then the buildup of that plaque actually damages the artery more. And so the body tries to compensate by creating more of that plaque gets stuck on there.
So we need to develop a drink that just clears all your arteries out and just like
Isn't
acid.
that called wine?
I don't know. I must not be drinking enough.
Oh, wine is a blood thinner. So wine, okay, so
that could work.
I am not trying to just tell people to go out and start drinking alcohol.
That's what she's doing.
No, it is not
Every
what I'm saying.
podcast it comes up.
However, it is known that wine thins the blood, and so if you have like a partial blockage, having thinner blood,
I'm gonna tell Dad to just
helpful.
pound the bottle, bro.
You ever wonder how like the French and the Southern Spaniards, how they can all eat all of that cheese and butter and crap, and it's because of all that wine they drink with it.
I don't like wine. I like cheese and butter and crap. I don't like wine though.
Well, you better start liking it.
That's great.
So, when an artery or the plaque can partially or fully block an artery, and again, that buildup of plaque damages the artery walls and will also cause the arteries to narrow and harden, which is called atherosclerosis.
All right, so plaque is made of fat, calcium, cholesterol, cellular waste, and that fibrin stuff. So it's like fats and everything.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to not eat fat?
No, I don't think that's...
Am I not supposed to drink milk?
I don't know.
Am I not supposed to eat human beings because they have everything in there? I mean, that's the problem.
You're supposed to go vegan. I think we were going to talk about vegan.
Get the hell out of here. Okay, I told my dad about that. I'm like, Dad, maybe like you want to, because obviously you had that issue.
Right.
That's probably a good idea. I'm not even 30 years old. There's no way in hell I'm going to be eating salads for the next 40 years. You're out of your freaking mind.
Here's the good news. Is that you don't need to do that.
I will die early.
Most people are not getting clogged arteries and having heart attacks because they're eating too much saturated fat. And I know people would argue with me about this, but it's not because they're eating cholesterol or saturated fat or meat. It's because they're eating processed crap.
Okay, Dad, no more pasta.
Yeah.
You can have freshly made pasta. No, even still. You can have
occasionally.
You can have zucchini that's spiralized pasta.
Let's talk about how often is your dad eating pasta?
He's Sicilian.
Oh. So every day?
No, I don't know. I mean, when is the last time? I don't know. Let me think. The last time we had pasta like on a family dinner was like two weekends ago. And I can't even remember the time before that.
But, like, if you were to, like, snapshot his lifestyle, so this is, like, what I like to ask people, you know, like, every night when you sit down to dinner, how many carbs are on the table? And again, I'm not against eating carbs because, I mean, we all know my issues with dieting
She's
and stuff.
She's a carb Nazi.
Right. I used to be a carb Nazi.
Yeah.
But...
Like, as far as, like, breads and stuff, I think it's just the problem with when we were kids... That's so cheap, and that's just what we.
I know it really is, and it's interesting to note that there's a much higher proportion of people who have heart disease in lower income areas because they cannot either find healthy foods or they can't afford it if they can't get it.
It's more affordability than anything else.
They call them food deserts. There's like literally
well,
can't
Medina's
find.
not a food desert.
Well, no, Medina is not.
No,
Medina doesn't count in that.
Yeah, I mean, but now that I'm older, I think I don't eat pasta very often.
Right, but I'm like asking like about him.
Well, yeah, when we were growing up, yeah, I think we ate it quite often.
But even up till now, till he's had his heart attack, I mean.
No, my mom does very. I mean, when she makes, because she usually one of them, they usually do a meat, a vegetable, and a carb almost every time.
Right.
Maybe sometimes it's skewed one way or the other, but it's not like meat, all the pasta in the world, and bread and cannolis and all that stuff. It's pretty well balanced for the most part when they do stuff. And even still, they're not like gorging out. Like my dad's more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. He likes pasta, but I mean, if there's a steak, he's gonna eat that instead of like a bowl of pasta. I think.
Right.
So.
Right. But again, you know, most people are having these issues. I mean, stress can be another one. If you hate your job that much,
I just think he hates people. I think he hates those people that work there. Bunch of morons. He tells me, he's like, I hate working these idiots. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right, we're getting off track here. Okay.
No, yeah, we are.
What happens when an artery becomes clogged? So if the blockage is an artery that goes to the heart, it will cause a heart attack. If it's in the carotid artery...
So the whole blockage gets pushed to the heart, is what you're saying?
Well, no. If the artery that's blocked is one that leads to the heart...
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It just... the blood flow is not getting to the heart. And so basically the heart muscle will die.
That's what happened.
Yes. If the blockage is in the carotid artery, which is the one that's the big one in the neck that feeds the brain, it'll cause a stroke. If it's an artery that feeds another extremity, such as the legs, it can cause something called peripheral artery disease, and it can cause symptoms like pain, numbness, and infections in your extremities.
Okay. And that's different from a blood clot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good. Different than a blood clot.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm making sure.
Right.
For everyone else's purposes, not my own. I already knew that.
All right. How early does plaque buildup begin?
How early? Oh my gosh. I don't even want to read this answer.
No, it's a short one.
I know. I just don't want to know what the answer is. So long before a heart attack even occurs, plaque may begin to develop during childhood, depending on your diet and family history.
Yeah.
So you're telling me my kid's building plaque up right now?
Possibly.
Probably not as bad as I think. We stopped eating pizza every night, so that's good.
That's a plus.
But it's Ohio pie pizza. It's so good. But that's crazy. I mean, so family history, because I remember back in class it talked about, I think it was if your dad had a heart attack before like 50.
Something like that.
And then your mom was like 60.
Right.
So my dad's 60. Well, okay, he's my stepdad, so we can't really use him as an example.
Okay, so right, you're not...
The other guy, who knows? He's dead anyways, so whatever. But my mom didn't have a heart attack. We're using my mom's side, okay?
Right.
Mom hadn't had a heart attack, so...
So you're probably pretty...
I'll probably be good.
You're probably...
I have her skin, too, so it works out really well. The young elastic part.
Right. So yeah, no, family history definitely plays a role, but plaque buildup begins early. So And I think this is probably somewhat normal for everybody. And of course, I think they're seeing more of this now that we're so used to eating these really convenience-based.
Yeah. There's a damn McDonald's everywhere you go.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one in Lodi.
So it's just building in younger people faster, and so that's why
it's probably because, when you're, two parents are working, and you have to go and get something, you just get something easy and bring it home, and you're good.
Right.
That's probably a big part of the issue, I would think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm thinking when we were growing, I don't think we ate out that often. If at all.
We didn't.
We may go to McDonald's like every once in a while. I remember going, and you go in those nasty ball pits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that's a totally different story. I don't remember anything from that, but I don't remember us going out to eat at like those kind of restaurants. Maybe like Alexandria's in Medina. I know we went to, but yeah, we didn't really do that a lot.
When I was a little older, I think we went out to eat once a week so that my mom would have like a break from cooking. But beyond that, we didn't go out to eat all that much. And we certainly, when we did go out to eat, it was never fast food.
Yeah, because it tastes like shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially
But my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So she was there to cook all the meals, and it's just different when both parents have to work. And the kids these days, it seems like they're into all of these different activities.
There's a lot going on.
And I don't ever remember that very much either. Like, I don't remember my mom and dad having to ferry us to like 30 different things every night of the week.
Well, it's worse for you because you live out in the middle of nowhere. You gotta.
I do, but you know what? I limit what my daughter will be involved in too.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with this whole idea that I think that families should be sitting down to the dinner table every night with each other.
Right.
I think that's a tradition that is fast fading, and it's something that it's important, and we're losing that because we're so overscheduled.
Right.
So, all right, what causes a buildup of plaque in the arteries? So there's a few different things here. High levels of VLDL cholesterol, so that would be the very dense particle LDL. There's two types of LDL, and just for simplicity.
Didn't we cover it before?
We did.
Okay.
We did. For simplicity.
Go listen to our other one.
Right.
Yes.
For simplicity.
Yeah.
The dense particles are the ones that you want to avoid, and then there's also light and fluffy LDL particles, which aren't as much of an issue. So if you have a high level of the dense LDL particles, then you could be in trouble there. Low levels of HDL, which is the good cholesterol, you actually want to have higher levels of HDL. I think it's either over 40 or over 60 that you want that number to be. If you have high triglycerides, so that would be circulating fats in your blood, high blood pressure, it damages the arterial walls. Diabetes or elevated blood sugars damages artery walls, probably because of inflammation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Smoking hardens the arterial walls. Poor diet, family history, stress, lack of exercise, and being overweight or obese. So all of these things, and typically most of those things are also they're all present together.
Yeah, it's usually not just one thing.
Right.
It's just the culmination of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that is what causes that buildup of plaque in the arteries. All right. What are the symptoms? I'm going to let you do symptoms because, it's too bad we don't have your dad here because he could tell us about it.
Oh, yeah, he could tell you about it.
Right.
We're like, oh, hey, how you doing, Dad? I'm still here. Okay, good deal.
Did he tell the doctor about, like, that thing that happened when he was pushing that thing?
Yeah, he told the doctor. He just didn't tell my mom.
Right.
And my mom's a nurse. Like a nurse, like assistant, whatever.
Well,
it's like, my mom's like, are you kidding me?
I bet.
You told me this?
Oh.
And she would have took him to the hospital that day,
Oh, yeah.
My dad doesn't like hospitals, but... All right, so sometimes there are none, and onset of symptoms usually occur after many years of plaque buildups. Just like, heart attacks usually don't occur till what, late 40s, 50s, and so on.
Everybody seems to think that a heart attack occurs out of the blue, and it's never that way.
No.
There's almost always years worth.
Well, there's not. I mean, there's usually heart attacks don't occur in people that are young.
Right.
Very
but
rarely.
More and more often now, they're occurring in younger people.
Yeah. And then at which point it's emergency, obviously. If the plaque builds up, you got to go to the hospital. And then, so you get chest pain, which he did have, shortness of breath he had, heart palpitations. I don't remember if he had that one. Chest pressure, yep. Dizzy or weakness or dizziness, nausea, sweating. He actually felt like his lungs were burning.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I've never heard of that. And then if you have any of those symptoms, you obviously need to go to the ER. Do not go to Medina. Go to Akron. Or Lodi if you think you're having a heart attack, because they don't have that stuff there apparently. And then heart disease is the number one killer of women, more than breast cancer.
So, I mean, there's always all these awareness campaigns, with certain...
Well, then we need, instead of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we need
I think they do have one, but it's just not talked about as much, and the symptoms for women can sometimes be a lot more subtle.
It's probably a money thing too.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Yeah. You know how many of those pink things they probably
ribbons,
sell?
right.
And it's on NFL and everything. It's probably more of a money thing.
I tell women, all the time, if you ever are in doubt or you feel like you're having you just feel off, you feel weird, you're having weird symptoms, go to the ER, because it is this is one of those silent killers for women. And there can be no symptoms, or you could just feel super tired, or you could end up feeling weird, you're headachy, whatever it may be. But if you are concerned and you feel like you're having symptoms, go to the ER. Yes, it's a pain in the butt, but you also won't die. Or you probably won't die if you go to the ER, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
Let's stick with that.
How about, I'll cover the symptoms of a clogged artery going to the brain, which would cause a stroke. Sometimes a headache, weakness or numbness on one side of the body, inability to move an arm or a leg, loss of vision, slurring speech, disorientation, loss of balance, drooping face. So my aunt had a stroke at a fairly young age. Now hers was probably caused by the fact that she hates her job so much, or I don't think she's there anymore.
She's stressed out.
But yes,
okay.
She's stressed out all the time about her work. She hates her work and money, and but she had some of these classic symptoms of a stroke, of a clogged artery going to the brain. And so again, that's another thing, it's nothing to mess around with. If you feel weird, go to the ER. All right. And how about tests? What tests are available to diagnose clogged arteries? Do you want to cover that?
Sure. We got cholesterol screenings, often diagnose, the high VLDLs. So that's the fluffy ones.
No, that's the dense ones.
Dang
Those
it.
are the ones you want to avoid.
Gosh, avoid the VDLs and the low HDLs, cholesterol.
So yeah, you want to have good HDL,
which increase the odds of plaque development. So it diagnoses high VLDLs and low HDLs. Okay. However, not everyone who develops the arterial plaques has high cholesterol, and the buildup often starts in the teens or early 20s, when it's unlikely that you could exhibit high blood pressure levels. Oh yeah, I just reworded that. So obviously you're going to get, if you need more tests, you got chest x-ray, CT scans, ultrasounds, MRIs, angiogram, and cardiac stress tests can definitely help diagnose clogged arteries. And is the cardiac stress test, is that when they make you run?
Yes.
All right, I'm not doing that.
I did it. I had to do one. And yeah, it wasn't very fun.
No, yeah, because they hook you up to all these machines.
Yes.
And do you have to breathe through a tube?
I didn't. And I asked the lady, too. I was like, aren't I supposed to be breathing through a tube? She's like, oh, no, I don't know why she said we weren't doing that, but we weren't doing that one. But the most uncomfortable part of that for me was, so your heart rate gets up pretty high while you're on the treadmill. But then you have to run over to this table and you have to lay down on your side and you're like heaving, like you're dying to catch your breath.
That sounds great.
And they're trying to do the ultrasound on your chest while you're laying on your side, and they're like, don't move. And then they want you to hold your breath.
I'm like, get the hell out of here. I want to see you run on this stupid treadmill for 20 minutes.
If I wasn't going to have a heart attack before, I'm going to have one now.
Yeah, you're stressing me out, lady.
Right.
Thanks, Deborah. I'm calling you Deborah.
I love those memes.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
All right. How can I prevent or treat clogged arteries? So, education, awareness, and testing. You should always be getting a full metabolic panel every year. And full metabolic panel is going to include blood sugar, triglycerides, cholesterol, blood pressure. If all of those numbers are within healthy limits, you're probably okay. If not, if any one of those numbers is off or is outside of the healthy ranges, it's probably time for further testing and also making some changes. But you have to be aware of it first.
Right.
But again, if you're young, even like a cholesterol test, you may be building arterial plaques when you're young, but that's not going to show up as high cholesterol when you're young, typically.
That makes sense.
When you're healthy and young, it's just not going to show up. And so your best bet there is to, to start early and sort of focusing in on what things can I do that will make my body more healthy so that I don't have this buildup of arterial plaque. And so obviously, healthy diet is going to be big.
It's all about diet, people, and exercise.
Diet and exercise.
Haven't you learned this yet?
Right.
Goodness.
But not to the point of being like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like diet and exercise, just
you need to go 160% all times. No cheat days.
Not being so
if I
restrictive.
see you with a cupcake, Deborah,
right, you're gonna slap it out of her hand.
You're dead to me.
Right.
It's over.
But reduce sugars and refined carbohydrates from all sources. Eat more fiber, especially from vegetables, fresh vegetables and fruits. If you have familial hypercholesterolemia, say that fast.
Good luck with that.
That is that's a genetic tendency to have high cholesterol. And again, it's a genetic thing that some people carry this gene that causes them to have high cholesterol, especially when they eat a high-fat diet. For most people, they've determined that fat and saturated fat and cholesterol in your diet does not cause high cholesterol and plaque buildup.
Good.
But for a certain percentage of the population, it might. You probably need to, if you have this familial, I have to say it again, hypercholesterolemia, you probably need to eat a lower fat, lower cholesterol diet. And avoid diets, and again, the keto people would probably argue with, but I would say avoid diets that are ultra high in fat like keto. Anytime that you are eliminating an entire food group.
I'll eat vegetables.
I just feel like focusing in so much on one macro.
I'd rather put like spinach and like avocado in my milkshake. Not my milkshake, but my smoothie.
So yeah, that's pretty healthy. But I mean, some of these strict keto people, they won't even eat vegetables because they're
stupid.
There's too many carbs.
No, because they're stupid.
So if you're just eating like bacon and butter,
Kelly, just tell them they're stupid.
You're stupid. All right, exercise. I mean, do we really have to
extra
talk about
fries is what you said?
Extra fries, right. Extra fries is always exercise. Drink lots of water. Dehydration causes thicker blood. And
headaches.
Wine causes thinner blood. Let's see here. Quit smoking. Manage stress and get quality sleep. And then, of course, my last one there is have a glass of wine. But don't take
She's
up drinking.
She's only mentioned it 6 times.
I know.
In this one
Apparently, I need a glass of wine right now. But yeah, don't take up drinking just to try to thin your blood. But do know that a glass of wine might not be a bad thing for you if you like to drink wine. All right. What if diet and lifestyle don't work? Or what if I've already had a heart attack?
I don't know, Kelly. I haven't had a heart attack.
But your dad did.
Well, where he's going to do, he does exercise. He takes walks with the dogs.
Was he exercising beforehand, though?
Yeah, he did walks with the dogs just about every day. And then he's just going to cut back on some of the crap he's been eating.
Okay.
That's all he's really going to do.
Does he, know what's he been eating that's crappy?
Not like crappy, though. I think he's just going to cut out, like, all the fatty foods. Like, whatever my mom makes. I don't know. He blamed her.
Of course.
And he's like, it's from all that buttery food you're giving me. I'm like, okay.
I keep making bread, and Mark is like, why do you make all this bread? I want to eat it.
Oh, nice. It's always a good thing.
All right. So, if diet and lifestyle don't work, or diet and lifestyle are typically going to work. Yeah. But if you've already had a heart attack, you need to know that it's never too late to improve your health through your lifestyle. Don't make the mistake of relying on medications and surgical procedures to save your life, because those come with side effects that can be pretty major. So making healthier choices is still going to help you, even if you are in the advanced stages of cardiovascular disease or you've had a heart attack. Medications like cholesterol-lowering drugs, blood pressure-lowering drugs, and blood thinners, those things can help, and your doctor may prescribe those. But those drugs, once again, they come with side effects. So you're better off. Now, if your doctor has prescribed a medication, don't stop taking your medication. Work with your doctor. If you're willing to change your lifestyle, work with your doctor to adjust medications as necessary. But the medications can be necessary in like in an emergency situation to keep you alive. Yeah. If you're in the advanced stages of cardiovascular disease, you probably need the medications.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And then there are the surgical procedures. Would be like stents, angioplasty, and bypass surgeries. Those are procedures that can unblock arteries, basically in a life-threatening situation. So what did your dad?
He had stents put in.
He had stents put in?
Yeah, stents, yeah.
And it worked? Everything's good?
Oh, yeah, everything's good now. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, like it was like a trickle, and now it's like...
Good.
So, yeah.
Is he feeling a lot better then?
Well, yeah, besides like shorter breath and stuff still, because it's just your heart has to get back to the...
Did he notice, like, beforehand that he was, like, feeling tired or anything a lot? No?
No.
Huh.
It was just all of a sudden, yeah.
Wow.
Out of the blue type thing, yeah.
So, I mean, that's all I've got for today, so.
All right. Well, everybody, my heart, your heart, Kelly's heart, keep an eye on it. Get tested. Get tested.
Work on your lifestyle.
Work on your lifestyle, but we'll see you next time. Hey everyone, this is TJ and
Kelly
with the Initiative Project Podcast. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions you'd like us to cover, please email us at initiativepodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.